Mr. President, Excellencies, Yahweh Gumalip, greetings from the Marshall Islands. As a member of the Human Rights Council, the Republic of the Marshall Islands holds to the belief that the spirit of multilateralism will continue to move states towards meaningful dialogue, empathy, greater solidarity, cooperation, and action to advance the realization of human rights for all. We firmly believe that international cooperation and collective action lead to our shared prosperity. The Marshall Islands have experienced the consequences of multilateralism failing. Our atolls and islands were used to test nuclear weapons while administered by the United States of America under a United Nations trusteeship. This was a monumental failure in multilateralism with lasting human rights consequences for the Marshallese people. Between 1946 and 1958, the Marshall Islands was subjected to 67 known nuclear weapons tests. The Marshallese people were exposed to nuclear fallout as well as radiation-contaminated environments and used as human test subjects in a top-secret scientific experiment called Project 4.1 to study the effects of such exposure. Our humanity was disregarded, and the scientists that carried out the study did so without our consent. They went as far as to justify this with racism, comparing us to mice and calling us uncivilized. To this day, the Marshallese people have not received an apology. There has been no meaningful reconciliation as we continue to seek justice. Reconciliation may not be easy, but it is the only way forward. It requires honesty and bold leadership to respond to our people's calls for justice and redress. After almost 80 years, we remain hopeful for meaningful reconciliation with the United Nations and the United States of America. Mr. President, with respect to climate change, multilateralism continues to fail when high-emitting states deny the science and the urgent need for a rapid transition from fossil fuel-based economies. This denial has dire consequences on the Marshallese people as rising sea levels erode our shores, infiltrate our freshwater sources, and threaten the human rights of our people and our cultural way of life. As a low-lying coral atoll nation with the average elevation of about 2 meters above sea level, we are among the most vulnerable to climate change-induced sea level rise. It is concerning that those most responsible who can make the greatest difference in the fight against climate change choose to deny our reality and the urgent need to rapidly transition. Despite these challenges, the Republic of the Marshall Islands firmly believes in the spirit of multilateralism, what it represents, and its potential. We continue to believe that constructive dialogue will move states towards common ground and lead to pragmatic, durable solutions. The Human Rights Council represents the success that can be achieved if states engage in this manner, and our experience as a member reaffirms this understanding. While this council does not always agree, we have found consensus on matters that resonate deeply with the Marshallese people. This council adopted by consensus the resolution that continues the mandate of the Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the context of climate change, as well as the resolution that continues the OHCHR mandate to provide technical assistance to address the human rights implications of our nuclear legacy. In doing so, the Council serves as a beacon of hope for the Marshallese people. The impact of this Council's work strengthens our belief in the spirit of multilateralism. With renewed resolve, we recommit to our efforts to share our lived experiences with the human rights consequences of climate change and nuclear weapons. We will continue to insist on states fulfilling their obligations where climate change is concerned, in accordance with the unanimous advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice on states' obligations in respect of climate change. Furthermore, in October, we will seek to extend the mandate for OHCHR technical assistance to address the human rights implications of our nuclear legacy. We trust that we can continue to count Council's support. Mr. President, the Republic of the Marshall Islands will commemorate Nuclear Victims Remembrance Day on March 1st, the 72nd anniversary of the Castle Bravo test, which caused catastrophic human rights and humanitarian consequences for the Marshallese people. This year's commemoration is also significant as we approach the 80th anniversary of the start of the nuclear weapon test in the Marshall Islands on July 1st, 1946, which continued until 1958. The Republic of the Marshall Islands will hold a commemoration event in Geneva, and we invite delegation and civil society to join us on this occasion. On this important anniversary, we must remember the victims of nuclear weapons and answer their calls for justice. Justice demands the abolition of nuclear weapons in recognition of the legacy of harms caused by their testing and use, as well as their continued existence. Mr. President, the Republic of the Marshall Islands is proud to serve as a member of this council. We embrace this responsibility and will continue to uphold the principles that we hold dear as a nation and as a people. We recognize that we can offer this council unique perspectives and understandings of human rights, and likewise, we look forward to the enriching contributions from states and civil society alike. Together, we can strengthen and promote international human rights governance through meaningful dialogue, empathy, greater solidarity, cooperation, and action. The Human Rights Council must strive to be a beacon of hope for humanity and multilateralism, and the Marshall Islands will share its light for that cause. Komoltada, and I thank you.